Okay, you're live.
I think we're live. Hello, hello.
Live.
Hello.
Have we got anyone here? We've got 9 people already. Bloody hell, we didn't even have to try.
Instagram one. Are we on 2 different Instagrams?
Yeah. We're on Sounds Like Emma on my phone on the left, and then
We're everywhere.
Hello, TikTok.
Everyone say hello in the chat. Let us know if you can hear us.
Sup, party people.
How are
I
we
definitely
doing?
can't read the comments on you guys up there on TikTok, but someone
Yeah.
with better eyesight.
I'll come. Did it say swipe right and to do what?
I can see there's quite a lot of people in there.
36.
Nice.
Hello, TikTok. It's been a very, 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 very long time.
Yeah.
Since I've said hello to you lot. We've been doing lives on Instagram and on YouTube for the last couple of weeks, but we thought we'd come say hi to you, seeing as we have a spare phone.
Clear in Los Angeles,
Great.
says Michael. What's everyone doing? What are we all up to? What have we
What's
interrupted?
Yeah. What are you avoiding by watching us?
By watching us. Are you at work? Are we in your headphones at your desk? What's the vibe?
Are we
Hello
your
from
second
Sweden.
most
Hello
important?
from Spain,
Sweden.
Georgia.
I don't know where to look.
Wasn't
It's
TikTok
evening.
banned?
This
TikTok
is
was banned
honestly
in the
so
US.
much.
We are not in the US. We have English accents. We're in the UK.
Yes.
It's-
Work whatevs.
Yeah, yeah, it's not
Avoiding news. I'm at work. Shh. We won't tell anyone, Donna. Don't worry. Oh, it's Donna again. Donna was there last week.
bad. Donna a regular.
Yes, we love Donna. Donna's a queen. Who else have we got? Drumming Jawa. Watching from Ireland. I wanted to know what you thought of the Yamaha EAD10 microphone. I don't think we've tried it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Is
the
that what
one that we
that's-
plug into the.
Oh, big
It's
fans of that
amazing.
one.
It
So
is
Yeah.
good.
amazing. Makes my life so much easier.
I thought you meant the microphone. I
Recommend.
didn't realise it was the thing that you used to record the
I love
drums.
that thing. It's awesome.
Yeah. For anyone doing home recording, I'd say with acoustic kit that you're just trying to do something simple and record just the drums.
Yeah.
Perfect. Plug it in, off you go. If you want to trigger the kick, you can.
Yeah.
If you just want to keep it simple, like you just keep it simple.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
good.
you can make it sound like you're in different spaces as well. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Different effects and everything.
From
They've got
Herefordshire.
people from all over. We've got someone in Berlin.
Ah, in the UK.
Oh, you've got it all zoomed in. That's smart.
Yeah. So we're not like
Got the
"What's going
chat
on?"
zoomed in.
I really cannot read.
Oh, there's stuff on TikTok up here. Hold
There's
on,
so
TikTok.
much going
So
on
sorry.
TikTok.
What's your favourite symbol, Emma?
I don't have a favourite symbol. I just the ones that sound good. I prefer dark.
We like ones that sound good. Yes.
I prefer darker symbols. I've realised
Do
now
you?
that I've bought hybrid K customs, which are quite bright, and spent a lot of money on those, and then realised I want darker symbols.
Mm.
And also now that one of them is very, very, very broken, I should probably think about getting some new symbols. So whoever wants to give me some new symbols,
We've got co-host. Do you want to co-host?
No.
Or not? No. Sorry, we're not doing any co-host today.
no, afraid not, lads.
Right, give us some drumming questions.
Drumstick dude, do you all play drums? Ilona?
No.
Yes, you do.
Those
Got
two do.
Ilona learn to play drums.
Yeah, we have a
No.
series on our YouTube channel of Emma teaching me the drums. I'm not very good, but you can watch it to feel better about yourself. Because if you've ever been having any self-doubts during your drum practice, you can watch me and be like, at least I'm not as bad as this person.
Absolutely not. Yes.
How much guidance? This is a good question. Richard asks, how much guidance does a songwriter give the drummer?
It depends on the songwriter. It's really
Yeah.
varied. A lot of people tend to be like, you know what you're doing. You're a drummer. Do what you want on this song. And sometimes they try and articulate it in a way that is less, I don't know. Like if you've got a songwriter who isn't trained in that instrument or very instrument led, then they can sometimes try and describe things in slightly interesting ways. I'd like this phrase to be a little bit more whimsical. How does
What does that mean?
make drums more whimsical?
I laugh, but that's fully me. When we're writing
That was
songs,
a
I'm
very
like, I
subtle
need to do
jab.
this, and you're like, that literally doesn't mean
What
anything.
does that mean?
But
That's
okay.
anything to
I
me.
feel like producers can really relate to that because I think that's a really big issue that
Yeah.
producers have to deal with, where people give them the vaguest briefs ever.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, what does that mean? How do I make this fluffier?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
You're better than me, Ilona. Well, that's because I had this lovely lady teaching me. Sometimes you just need a little bit of help. What genre of music do you gravitate to? That's a good question.
It used to be rock, but I think now I'm more on the dancier end of the spectrum / funkier technical stuff because I got a bit bored of just hitting snare drums and more.
You're like, I want to spice this up and show up a little bit.
After a while.
We got the TikTok ones up here,
cool.
nice and big now as well.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's really helpful.
And did you have any phobias? I don't. Maybe heights. But I think that's
Spiders?
pretty normal.
Are you alright with spiders?
Yeah, I'm not bothered by spiders.
Right, she's a good husband.
Yeah.
Someone said that they're grade 4 drummer, and what's the hardest cover that you've ever played?
Really, a covers player?
No.
No. What is the hardest thing? I genuinely don't know. Everything's hard for different reasons, including life.
This person said whimsical means more ride. I love that you have a translation for that. That's really good.
Yeah.
Someone's asked, are you broadcasting on a calculator? Almost. We're not at my normal setup today, so we're on my laptop, which is considerably cheaper and crappier than my computer is. So that's why.
Sorry if we've had some.
Sorry if we're a bit grey and blurry, but hopefully you can hear us all okay. If you could just pick 5 rudiments, what would you choose? And how's Goob? Goob is fat and fluffy as he usually is.
Yes. 5 rudiments. Well, I mean, because if you're inverting paradiddles, surely you can just get doubles anyway. Singles, doubles, paradiddles, flams, and 6-stroke rolls. Do they count as a rudiment? They're technically just doubles and single strokes. So this is where it gets, because all rudiments are technically just single strokes and doubles. What do you think?
Maybe a triple here or there.
If it's a paradiddle, Emma's probably on board.
Probably.
Because she loves paradiddles.
6-stroke rolls.
There's a good question here actually. I'm a guitarist learning drums. I'm struggling to make fills and sound unique and keep it in time.
Well, unique is difficult.
Yeah.
Because there's only a very specific, like a certain amount of combinations that are going to sound good and musically applicable and like just stylistically appropriate. So don't worry so much about it sounding original. It's more kind of what serves the song. So that's kind of more how I think about it.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know what your take on that is, Chris.
I'm trying to make fills sound original is, I think, something that for most people, you need a grounding first to then be able to.
Of what already exists, to improvise from.
Especially if you're coming as being a guitarist and now learning the drums, and I'm presuming that you're probably like at an age where if you learned guitar fairly well, you're now having to learn an instrument later. It's kind of something I think you need to work on and have a system to work from.
Someone's just said, I actually almost got a world
I saw that.
because of you. You've got to...
You need to elaborate.
Elaborate on that. And by the way, if we're answering questions there, we have to talk to us.
Oh yes, of course, that's true.
Yeah. Please elaborate. I'd like to know.
World record. Oh my gosh. T.Lee has asked on YouTube, what's the trick to memorizing songs at 63? My brain just can't do it.
That's a great
at 26, my brain just can't do it. Don't worry, mate, you're not alone.
I have a really quick answer for that one. If you send us an email, which Ilona is going to put in the chat in 5 seconds, then we will send you. There's a workshop that I've done on exactly this.
Oh, okay.
And it comes with breaking songs down and writing them down in less detailed ways, but to help you remember the structure. And there's a whole methodology behind that. There's 2 workshops, so we can send that afterwards. So I think it's one of those that you need to. I think so often, especially a lot of stuff online, we try and get the sheet music and we read every single bar and every single note, and you're not going to remember that, right? For most people, unless you've got a really good memory. And if you haven't, which it sounds like, and that's most of us, then I think you need to break it down and think about the fundamentals, getting the feels to come in at the right time, stop at the right time.
It is a really specific skill to learn something. There's a lot going on at the same time. I often find that I have to simplify the sections into just. And as you get better at playing drums, you get better at blagging. And that's the big one as well. Unless you're trying to go for note for note.
And for our Americans in the chat, that just means improvising. Making it up as you go along.
Yes.
We get a lot of people asking about our Britishisms. We had someone ask us, what does quids in mean last week?
Well, we got a response from the world record. So apparently they're fast at rapping and they base their flow of rhythms that they learnt from you.
Wow, that's so cool.
That's cool. Very nice.
That's awesome. Did you want to check if there's like an Ethernet cable behind down there? Because
Is
it
it
might be good if you plug it in for the YouTube.
It doesn't look like there is, no.
We've had loads of people here on TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok's.
We really had like
A lot of people are saying on TikTok, where have you been?
Yeah.
And something's
I
interesting.
know.
TikTok seems to stop pushing out your content at the moment,
Yeah.
and I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know if it's
We should probably go live on TikTok more.
Yes.
Would
Yeah.
you like that?
Yeah,
Would that be nice? We're trying to go live a little bit
Probably.
more often.
I mean, if you want the honest to God truth, it's because I don't have TikTok on my phone. That's why. So we're still posting there, but I'm just not ever present on said platform. So if you want more from me in actual terms, then
Yeah.
Instagram is probably your better bet, to be honest.
Someone's asking about, can they have Emma review one of their performances? If you go to the Linktree bio,
Yes.
you can actually upload your performance of whatever it is.
Yeah.
We've put in there like avoid copyrighted music, but I
If
think
you
you
can,
can
but-
send it. It does say it in the form, but we can remove that now with AI.
I think
So
yeah.
don't worry too much, because I know you're asking specifically about a cover. So send that there. Go to the Linktree.
Yeah.
We've got a couple people asking about speed. So someone on Instagram over here is asking, is there a trick to making the drumsticks go faster? And someone here is saying, is there a trick to counting quickly? I find 16ths hard to count out loud.
So what happens is, as you get faster, what you want basically is to be able to count it slowly and to the point where you've got it down. And then what you do is take out irrelevant counts. So let's say you're counting one.
Gap.
So if you've got like a hand-to-hand rhythm and you've got 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a right, right, left, right, right, left, right. You're not going 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4. You don't need to, because you only need to deal with 1 and a. You don't need the E. So that starts to simplify. And also, if you're playing an 8th note groove, I'm not counting the 8th notes, like, and you've got like 16th note bass drums and snare drums. I'm just counting the outliers. I'm counting the pulse, like 1, a 2, a 3, and 4. For example, to make things easier. And also, once you've got to that speed, you can probably hear what's being, like the rhythm, the kind of melody with the groove or whatever. Yeah, you can hear it. So you also, at that point, you may not need to count quite so diligently.
If it's really fast, you generally stop counting.
Yeah.
You should not have to count if it's fast at some
No,
point, right?
it does hinder things at a certain point. It's good for accuracy.
And learning something new, but I think you want to, if you're playing something faster, you should have it ingrained and be counting at slow tempos. 16th notes, one thing you can do is if you blend like 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4, you can kind of like blur them in rather than pronouncing everything clearly. You do want to count fast, but I think what Emma said is probably...
It's easy to blur the lines at that point, I think.
Yeah. Good rock songs for beginners. I would say straight out the gate, I don't know if this is rock or pop, but Boulevard of Broken Dreams by Green Day is a great one, because it's just it's 86 BPM, I want to say 84, 86. Yeah, and it's pretty simple, and you can, a couple of more tricky bits you can take
I'd
out.
say Highway to Hell over Back in Black by AC/DC.
Yeah,
because
Back in Black's hard.
It's actually quite hard.
Yeah.
To get it completely 100% accurate, but Highway to Hell is a lot kinder, so I'd probably go with something like that.
Oh, the Linktree is probably not in your bio, that's why.
It should be.
Sorry, no, in Emma's bio it's different. I apologise.
Different link.
I've just put the Linktree in the chat. Hopefully you can print screen it and copy the link, because actually Emma's Linktree is different on TikTok.
Where are you guys based? Do you do lessons in London? So we are all remote, technically. We just happen to be all in one room today.
Yes, by some
we don't do
miracle.
in-person lessons. We do all of our lessons online. So if you check out our website, www.lovetolearndrums.com, we have a membership where you can get one-to-one lessons, weekly workshops, ebooks, online courses, all that good stuff. So if you're interested in lessons, definitely go check that out.
And it's a good point to mention the free workshop that Brett's doing.
Yes. Oh yeah, we're doing a free workshop on Monday. So if you in our Linktree, you'll be able to book yourself in for a free workshop that we're doing. What was being hosted by one of our teachers, Brett, and he is fantastic. It's called Rethinking Rudiments. And all you have to do is just register yourself so that you can get the Zoom link to join on Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. So you should go do that, because we're going to start doing one free workshop every month. But if you're a member, you get them every week.
I've got a good question actually on TikTok, and that's obviously up to you guys.
Up there.
Hello.
Just got your grade 8. Any ideas? What's the next? This is from Topcat174. just to explain to the American audience, because they probably are not aware of what a grade,
The grade
is.
system,
Grade
yeah.
8 is the final music exam that you can take in the UK predominantly. It does exist in the US, but a lot of people don't use it.
And it's kind of a free for all beyond that point.
Basically, I had a teacher that I had once said to you, once you've done grade 8, if that's the system you've gone through, that is now you starting the drums.
Basically,
Yeah.
that's
You're
what I
now
was
at the
gonna
point
say.
where you can
kind of play almost anything because you can read, should be able to read
Yeah.
well enough. You got all your rudiments mostly.
Yeah.
Like you've been given a really, really good foundation to now go and do whatever the hell you want.
Are you in a band?
Yeah, if you're not, that's the
I
next
feel like
step.
that's
Start
like,
writing your own stuff.
That
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
We got one here, double bass tips for beginners. Cassie, have a good answer to that. Go to the website. We've actually got exercises on double kick that are free to download that I made. So yes,
I was going to say I have
they're
nothing
nice
to
ones.
do with double pedal. Not yet, anyway. Can't do Mondays. Don't worry, because you can watch back the live.
You can watch back the
streams.
free workshops. You can watch them back. We use something called Fathom that basically does a whole AI summary of everything that happened in the workshop, and you get all of the materials emailed to you as well. If you're on the membership, actually the weekly the workshops are actually on Tuesdays. We just happen to have this one is on a Monday next week, but the Tuesday one is also happening. So you've got lots of choice. So
And they won't always be on the Monday, the free ones.
Yeah,
we're
they'll chop
moving
and
them
change.
around so people got opportunities.
So you got opportunities to go, exactly. I jam with a lot of acoustic players, and I'm learning drums to add interest. Any good kick drum with shallow depth for small spaces? We're
This
not
one's right here.
Oh, okay. I was going to say we're not usually the people
I
that
don't know,
ask
you
about
probably can't
equipment.
tell.
No, you can't see
It's
it.
a small Tama kit. The kick drum's like this big, and the model is, I don't even know. This is one of my old Imperial Star Tama.
Imperial Star Tama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the kick drum is small, but if it's mic'd up, it gives a really good punch.
Because Tama does like a little tiny bop kit kind of thing as well, but the bass drum is a little bit weedy.
This one
but
is a nice sound. Like it's pretty decent. So
someone's saying they're a bit confused about the workshops. So it's like a group Zoom call essentially, but you've got one teacher and then whoever's signed up to join the workshop, and then they'll be teaching one topic that you'll work through, and then all the materials will be sent to you afterwards if you want to go through it again. What is a good practice to make your ghost notes more controllable, and also a good practice to use toms in more interesting ways?
There you go, Emma. There's a snare drum right here.
Everyone plug your ears.
can you put some
There we go. And then we've got a set of sticks right here.
I mean, not that anyone. I mean, laptop can't see my hands, but
just go back.
I mean,
there you go. Now it can.
So
Everyone
what was
can
the
see
actual? It was ghost notes. The exercise I give everyone is imagine if this rim is actually your hi-hat, right? And you're counting 16th notes, and you're just going 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and just right, left, right, basically through a whole bar. And the key is to keep the hi-hat. Oh, well, let's just change.
Yeah, so it looks like it's got the lights.
But the hi-hat wants to stay the steady kind of normal volume, and you want the ghost notes to be ghosty. What you want to avoid doing is lifting to get that ghost note, because most of us think, oh, we're hitting the drum, we come up to hit the drum, but that's going to give you a loud note, and we don't want that. So 1 E and 2 E and 2 E and 3. Also, it trains you to do the most normal placement for ghost notes, which is like E's and R's. So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E, 4 E, 1 and 2 and 3. So your hi-hat is doing all your 8th notes as well. That is the main thing I'd give most people, just to get used to a bit more control with them. If you're going for individual place ghost notes, then I'd just pick a groove specifically that uses the placement you're wanting, and just take it mega slow and apply that technique. So making sure you're dropping the stick instead of lifting it to then hit the drum. You just go boop, like that, little tiny bit of nothing. The quieter the better. The lower you are to the drum, like the lower you are, the quieter is going to be. Hopefully that helps. Have you got any other
repositioning for you on Instagram?
Again, if you want to email us, we have the accents exercise.
Yes,
that's a good one, and that's just an exercise. And we actually have some videos on it we can send back. And there's a little mini course that you can send about that stuff. So that's probably a good one. So just email it to the if you go to the website that's pinned at the top of YouTube, was it YouTube question? Which
Yes,
channel it
Yeah,
was?
so.
Or the link tree should all go through to the website, and you can email us that. Anyone wants that, just let us know. We can send that over. The workshop Top Cat is 5 p.m. on Monday
GMT, yeah.
Just for that's UK time, just to clarify. So if you're in America, that's
if
much
you're in
earlier
America, it's the time. Daylight savings is actually happening over this weekend, which has been a pain in my behind. Trying to organise everything. I only realised it the other day, so it will actually be 12, like midday Central in America, if that helps you. Any advice on snare tuning?
When in doubt, crank it.
We want to do some videos on this, but we aren't really the experts. We have good friends in drum shops that we want to film videos with about this specific topic.
People who love drum tuning.
Who love drum tuning and all of that stuff, exactly. Hi, Ala says, do you have any tips for improvising more complex / interesting beats? I play in a punk band and I'm really new to drums. Honestly, a great start, I think, if you're new to drums, is starting a punk band, because anything goes. But I don't want to just play a standard rock backbeat my whole life.
That's fair enough. I mean, punk is really good for getting some basics down, but sometimes it's easy to get away with it being messy. I would actually check out, is the Master Groove Sheets book
Yes.
free?
We can make it
I
for that person.
believe-
Anyone that's watching right now, yeah.
If you drop us an email, we can probably send it your way.
We can send you the
Because
book,
I'd
yeah.
suggest going through something like that and just getting some slightly more interesting grooves in your back pocket that involve maybe some ghost notes, maybe
Yeah.
some other fun
We've got a
stuff.
whole ebook on this, so if you
Yeah.
are curious, then you can
But
send us an
in a
email.
more succinct answer, you want to basically move away from just having snare drums and bass drums that fall with your hi-hats, and then start having grooves where they happen to fall in between your hi-hats, because that's where it gets more complicated. That's 16th note placements in your grooves.
Yeah.
That's probably the best thing to kind of start doing, because it will help you then begin to improvise.
I have also done a workshop on this.
Yeah.
If you email and say what you just said there, then we can send you the
We can
ebook.
send you the link.
There's
yeah.
actually an ebook that goes along with it, with exercises, and there's 2 lessons on that.
Yeah. Someone else in the chat saying that the workshops at the time when they're at work, but it's fine because all of the workshops that we do, they get put on our website after the fact, and you can watch back the whole thing as if you were there.
Yeah.
On the same link as well.
On the same link, and it's it will have the ebook and all the materials that you need linked there as well. So if you're not a member, you can just go to lovetolearndrums.com/free workshops and free workshops, yeah, and it will have all of that lovely stuff. So don't worry if it's not a time that works for you. Unfortunately, because we are in the UK, we have to try and figure out a time that works best for most people, but there will be people that it won't work for. So we try and make everything accessible afterwards so that you can always go back.
And if you need more personal help, then you can book in a coaching call.
Yeah, we've got free coaching calls as well. So you can speak to an expert drummer, 30 minutes, totally free, no card details or anything. You can just go in, chat to someone, and they'll be able to help
they'll
you.
give you the exercises to go away for that specific
Exactly.
one. Just got Marlene, who is saying hi from Canada, who is having lessons with Brett.
That's one of our students. We love Marlene.
Finished the fast track drummer and done amazingly.
Hell
so well done, Marlene.
Marlene's been learning with Brett, who is hosting the workshop on Monday, so you can all see how lovely and wonderful he is.
He is lovely and wonderful and South African.
We love him so much. What's your opinion on learning drumline stuff? I don't know what that means.
Neither of us very good with this.
Well, drumline specifically, I have no advice for because I've never done it. But I did grow up doing a lot of like samba drumming groups where a lot of people are on snare drum, and I did. I was actually in like a batteria samba thing when I was younger.
No, that's very interesting.
That's actually how I met Louis. Not through that group, but through that charity that was there, and then I started working for Eddie Paul.
Louis is one of our other teachers that's more involved with writing some of the music that we do.
Yeah, most of the backing tracks.
Yeah, all the backing tracks have been there.
Yeah. But anyway, so I just say metronome, and also just repeating short phrases. I think if you want to get drumline clean, you do have to go through a bit fine-tooth comb, and just make sure everything is clean. That's my approach anyway. Some people might just go, let's just get everything kind of down and then polish it after the fact, but I don't like that. because it's easy to be lazy.
I think find somebody maybe that can teach you that stuff, because
That
it's very
it is very technical.
I wouldn't be teaching somebody that, because it's
No,
very
it is.
specific. It's to find someone that is an expert and a good teacher.
It depends on how advanced we're talking, because if you're like, if it's just a amateur kind of community group where they're not worried about you have to use traditional grip and you have to, you know, have the sticks up to your snores and stuff like that, like, don't worry about it. But yeah, talk to someone who does know, because I certainly don't.
No.
Some people are saying that the connection on the YouTube stream specifically is a bit bad.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, we are on the
so.
road today, so we're doing the
Yes.
best that we can
Yeah.
with my laptop.
Yep.
If you want to jump to either TikTok or the Sounds Like Emma Instagram or the Love to Learn Drums Instagram, we're also streaming there. If the internet might be slightly better.
We are on like 5 devices.
Or on many. There's a lot of screens happening right now.
Me right now
in. Someone said, "Who's that dude?" What do you mean?
Chris Keeling.
Chris is the one that makes everything happen.
Yeah.
He is the founder of Alpine Music and Love to Learn Drums. He's the reason this all exists.
Slowly kind of just come out and just remove myself.
Can't you tell from the glowing orange hat with the Alpine logo on it? Just
there you go.
The beacon.
Hey Emma, love your channel. How do you balance the volume of your hats versus snare? Do you also find it difficult to record the end of the sentence was lost? But how do you balance the volume of hats versus snare?
If we're talking acoustic,
assuming when you're playing, like acoustically,
I mean, I generally don't have a problem. Maybe perhaps because you might be hitting the hi-hat where you're hitting the edge of it, like the shoulder stick on the edge, and that can be significantly louder than using the tip of the stick. So that's your hi-hat. Instead of going to the edge like that, you want to use the tip of the stick on top, because you get a smaller sound.
I think it's hard as well to coordinate when you're hitting the kick drum and the snare drum. Obviously, the snare drum you come up, so you're doing
yes. That, right? Don't be afraid when you come up for that snare drum. It's likely your hi hat will also be a little bit louder just because of the heights being involved. But yeah, I'd try that, and also small emotions as well. Don't be afraid to, like, what we want is relaxed elbows mostly. And then it's a lot of wrist and letting the stick bounce and do the work. And then your snare drum should be able to come up, like get the coordination so both sticks can come up when the snare comes up and then come down together. Yeah. And you'll get the volume balance then with the hi-hat, because the snare should get a bit louder too.
I have an analogy for this.
Steady.
But it doesn't mean this is going to like solve the solution, but try and think of your limbs like a mixing desk. We don't have one here, do we? And the hi-hat is a slider that you can turn up or down, and the kick drum is a slider you can turn up or down, right? And so try and play normally and just get the hi-hat to go as quiet as possible, right? What was being said over here.
I love your name, Thug Nasty Unicorn. She's such a ghosty goddess. I like that.
This person's called Generic User, which I also appreciate. Is it essential to learn to read sheet music? I really struggle with it sometimes. And what's the best way to improve limb independence?
The way I think about reading sheet music, it's the same story as if you couldn't, maybe to a lesser extent, if you couldn't read normal writing. You can understand people talking to you and you can communicate fully, but you wouldn't be able to write down any of your ideas, read anything that anyone has ever given to you, and like you would just be so restricted in terms of what you can absorb and communicate. If that makes sense.
I would see it less as an obstacle and more as an aid, because for me, when you were teaching me drums, sheet music seemed like drum subtitles.
It depends how
that's how it felt.
How it's taught to you as well.
Yeah,
it can be really easy to, if you're trying to teach yourself and you look at some really advanced sheet music. I did this with piano and it was stupid. You get put off straight away. So make sure you take it from the very, very dummy beginning. And go through it, preferably with someone, or have a coaching call with somebody. I wonder who could possibly do that.
I don't know.
Maybe if you follow the link that is right there in the chat, you might be able to find
who's that guy. It's the guy who teaches you everything.
Yeah.
Can I just say something else with reading music as well? I think it's so I'm pretty dyslexic and it's very hard for me to read. That's not a natural thing, and I had to work at it. And as Emma said, initially it was taught to me in a way that didn't make sense. So I think finding a way that makes sense to that is going to help a lot. We don't have a lot of stuff on this. There's the thing where you
I
break
keep
down.
meaning
We
to
do
like
need to
an
do something.
intensive reading course
Yeah.
because it's on the list of things that I want to do.
But I think it's worth learning. But
Yeah.
I also appreciate it can feel overwhelming if you haven't got the right guidance with it, for sure.
Yeah.
So
when are you girls guesting in Drumia? When they call us.
Yeah, when they call us. When they give us a ring.
Email us. It's right in there. They could do it right now.
Adona's asked, what's your advice on using the hi-hat? I'm used to keeping it closed, just keeping it closed. I hear talk of keeping time with my hi-hat, but don't understand how.
How long have you been playing for? That's a good question, because this gets introduced too early. And what music do you want to play? Because if you want to play jazz, maybe it's worth doing earlier. If you want to play rock,
I would stress it too much.
Yeah, and you're still kind of starting out, I just wouldn't worry about it.
But you sound like you've got enough questions where actually genuinely a coaching call might be a good idea.
Yeah.
I think we could answer a lot more of your questions if we're actually talking to you about what specifically where you're at.
I was going to say that's a really interesting question. Someone said, wait, dyslexia also affects reading sheet music.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would have thought it just works with, because obviously dyspraxia is numbers and dyslexia is letters. So
dyspraxia is actually coordination.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
And
it just means
dyscalculia is numbers.
Oh, I see.
But dyslexia is a wide spectrum. I think this is, and all of those fall under the dyscalculia, the number one, the reading one. It's the way in which your brain muddles up things.
I feel like that would be quite easy with sheet music because it's all the
there's
similar looking symbols.
Yeah,
so 100%. A lot of questions about coordination, and we missed the answer to that. I think coordination wise, we've got a system that we use that works very nicely. Again, we have workshops on this, we have courses on this, we actually have some free ebooks on this. And I think that the biggest thing that Emma's maybe mentioned earlier, or certainly recently in a video that we posted, slow things down.
Slow down.
And can you demonstrate what that means, how slow that means? Can you count something? Like if you're going to do a kick on the 1 and the E, for example.
If you're doing, you have to break it down to such a microscopic level that you're thinking about, okay, let's think about, I don't know, let's just talk about speed to begin with. So it can be unrecognizable. It's just about getting everything in the right order. So you go, okay, 1, what happens now? What on the E? A bass drum. That's it. And that 2-note bit, you then get more comfortable and fluid with just that, still counting 1 E or whatever it is, and then you start to, extend out that phrase, whatever it is. And then it will gradually start to just glue itself together. The worst approach is to speed through the easy bit, and when you get to the struggle bus, you just you just kind of power through it, and you just keep having the same problem over and over again. So you'll end up with okay, cool. Oh God, da 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 da. But if you slow it down, that hump still happens,
but it's much less harsh.
You will gradually smooth it out, basically. So that's why.
There's ways of formatting sheet music for dyslexia. Oh, I didn't know that. That's so interesting.
Does the
also Ethan says hi. Ethan, who had the bad experience with his first drum performance. They're watching.
Hi.
I hope that you're feeling better and you've had another experience that was better.
Amen to that. That will happen at some point. For sure.
As a left-handed drummer, do I just reverse the patterns in your videos?
Yes. Yeah.
Literally, that's a short answer.
Yes. I would, if I had more room, I would love to have made things more inclusive in terms of having both right hand and left hand, but I feel like it would get confusing for people.
Also, the editing of that will get really painful.
Are you playing a right-handed drum kit though?
That's another question.
Because if you're playing, not right, you set the drum kit right-handed.
Yeah.
Because that makes a difference.
Okay, I've seen Emma do a lot of time signature jiggery pokery. I love that. How much do you still struggle with it? I was trying to learn some tool that goes 5/12, 7/12 every bar. I mean, tool is one hell of a deep end to dive into.
I love that you know I do a lot of funny time signatures
because do you know why this happened? Probably is because when we were at a prog festival, we filmed a whole bunch of time signature stuff. And I kept forcing Emma to do all different time signatures. And those videos have just been going out recently. So that's
probably why.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I actually, what I do is I just like drums is the blagging instrument, and I have just learned a few things that make me sound like I really know what I'm doing specifically in 7. Anything other than 7 can get in the bin because I'm just useless at it.
This is a really good question. While drumming, have you ever entered a flow state or like
Yes.
get in a zone and absolutely nail every beat, or are you always consciously thinking about what you're doing the whole time?
When you're in a flow state, you're not even thinking about the fact that you're nailing every beat. You don't. You're just playing. It just is, and it's great. It's such a good feeling when you finally get it. I find that I achieve it the easiest by putting on a metronome and just repeating the same thing over and over.
Have you ever had it on stage?
Only in moments, probably, because then something else happens and then you kind of get pulled out of it. But it depends.
Have you, Ilona?
I find I was just thinking about that. I find when I'm singing, I'll go in and out of that flow state. So sometimes I'm really into it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it helps. Practicing helps because you just know the material so
Yeah.
inherently that you start to improvise and be able to spice things up and ad lib a lot more. That's when I'm properly, if I'm like going off on one and switching it up and singing something totally different to how I'm normally, that's because I'm really in the zone. I know the original material so well that I can vary from that. And then sometimes I'm like, I really want pizza right now. Oh shit, I'm singing, I need to concentrate. So sometimes it like I can really consciously feel myself go in and out of it, which is weird. Like I try and hold on to the flow state, but it is weird.
You can't hold on to it.
There's sometimes when you're singing and it's like what's going on in your brain is so completely severed with what your physical body is doing. Like I'm stood there singing the song, performing, and my head is elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like I'm literally thinking, what's the next line? I need to make sure I remember the next line, but I'm singing like I'm not thinking anything like that. So it is strange.
I think when you mentioned about when you've done, I think this happens if you've been in a band for a while and you've done the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Especially when you're in an originals band and you've maybe written the drum part.
So you just know it like the back of your hand.
And then you've recorded it in the studio, then you've heard the music video a million times, and then you and like there's been times with my old bands where maybe the couple of tunes when they got released, maybe we played them 1,000 times more.
Yeah.
And the whole set, I remember coming off one set where I actually forgot the entire set, and I'd been on stage, I got off, and I thought we'd forgotten songs. We watched the recording back, and it all happened. Yeah. And I had no recollection.
Your brain completely cut out. I've definitely had that where I've blinked and the set's done, and I'm like, I don't even remember.
There was one night when I was on tour with Ariel last year. I completely skipped a song, and I started this other song, and they all looked at me, and I was like,
we're doing this now, well, I guess.
Okay. But it actually worked out better, but I was like,
yeah.
You know. So you can completely lose it sometimes.
We have a good question here. How do you count demi, semi,
quavers? Don't bother. Don't bother.
Don't do it to yourself.
Half time it. If you're practicing something that involves that, just half time the count. So you count it as 16th notes and then
fill in the gaps.
Yeah. Or you count 16th. So let's say we're
twice
doing,
over.
If we're doing 16th notes as 1 E and per, then you just still count it as 1 E and but you just have 2 notes per sound. 1 E and per, 2 E and per. That's how I think about it, because otherwise I don't think anyone's mouth can move that fast.
Yeah. If you're doing it super slow, you can go 1 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 2 E and a 3. But then it just, I think once you get to those, and for the people that don't know what that is, it's a 30-second note. That means per beat, there's, wait, hold on a minute. Per bar, there's 32 notes.
Yeah.
Or measure.
Semi-quaver is 64th notes, and they are real. I've never seen them out in the wild.
What's
but
128th note?
Oh, I don't know what the word is about that. But
me, the singer in the room.
Yeah.
We've got lots of really good stuff on YouTube. So, in the noble words of Stuart Copeland himself, when asked if there was a secret to drumming, nope, you just bang shit. Have you ever done electronic drum kit reviews? Yes, we have some reviews of the F Note Pro 70 something or other. We've got an unboxing, we've got a first impressions and a review, so you can check that out on our YouTube channel. Was the cameo with Justin, 65 drums, a planned thing, or do you not even know each other? Emma is literally featured on his channel.
I think that might have been at NAMM when you.
It must have been.
You got interviewed. A few people interviewed you as we were
Maybe.
walking between stalls.
Maybe.
The answer is no. That was not conscious.
So much happened.
We have no idea.
When we're at the NAMM convention in LA in January, there was a few times at which people came up and just interviewed Emma whilst we were walking between
somewhere else.
So we just did the thing. So that's probably one.
No
of those.
idea. It was 65 drums. We'll have to look at.
We'll have to look at that. Also, thank you,
Bex,
Catherine.
can you make a note, please, if you're watching.
Thank you, Catherine, for just putting that extra advice in there about dyslexic people and.
That's useful. I kind of want to try that of color coding the different types
Yes,
of
I
notes.
was actually
Great
I was
idea.
going to talk about this. I've done this before for students. I didn't even know that was a technique that was a specific thing, but I've done it. It helps me if I have the hi-hats in green, the snare drum in blue, the kick drum in red. It's actually doable with most sheet music now. You can import it as a PDF into Canva, and it will allow you to, if it's a graphic vector format, you can do that.
I'm trying to see if there's. It might be on this NAMM video, so we'll watch that when we're finished.
We'll figure it out. See if I'm in anything.
Do you ever do busking in the streets of London?
No, I did it once actually. I did it to promote.
Oh my gosh, you did!
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
The movie. Because a friend of ours ended up doing it singing in the subway, and I ended up doing some of that, so that was really cool. But apart from that, not really. No.
Have you delved into double bass drumming?
No.
So this is really interesting. So this week, earlier this week, we went to visit our friend Mr. Greggles. He's a Twitch streamer. He's an insane drummer, and even he doesn't touch tools. He's has been drumming for years and years and years. Doesn't touch tools. So that's how hard tool is. And Emma's always been saying how we get a lot of questions about double bass and double pedal, and she's not quite in her wheelhouse, unfortunately. Everything else is not double pedal. So he did her a little lesson, and I think you can actually watch that. We'll be getting the footage from him, hopefully, and we'll be able to post it on our YouTube channel. But there will be a clip of him teaching her, and it was very cute.
I keep cooking this idea in my head. I'm just figuring out the best way to do it, just because of sound restrictions that I've got. But I want to do a month-long challenge of.
Yeah, similar to Emma teaching me how to play drums, someone teaching Emma how to play double pedal.
Or just teaching myself.
We do have a new teacher that's just come on board that is kind of more specialist in this double pedal.
That's true. So we can do that.
If you are watching, we've had quite a lot on this live stream about double pedal, but we've about 4 or 5 comments.
We get a lot of comments about it.
If you want to have a free lesson with a drum teacher, this is not a coaching call, but specifically to have a lesson on double pedal, drop us an email that you watch this live stream, and we'll set you up with a lesson with that teacher. And I honestly feel like double pedal is something that you just need the two-way. If you're really competent drummer, you're going to go and learn it. You can probably do that. But if you're more beginner intermediate, get somebody that knows what they're doing, because you're just going to end up having to relearn stuff. And if you're right-footed and right-handed, if your left foot is going to be weaker naturally, and you're probably going to get a bad technique with it. So just get it right.
Is it 1997 or is the video quality just bad? It's just 1997. We have bad internet and my laptop is cheap. All right, allow it.
We should have used my Mac, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we probably should have used your Mac.
If you want Ilona to have a nicer laptop,
yes,
follow the link.
Please
drop us an email.
Please join our membership so Ilona can afford a better laptop and a better webcam. I have found playing matched rudiments with hands and feet were great for getting some of the initial coordination down.
For double pedal.
I'm going to assume.
Yeah, I don't know what that's. But is that actually what that means? 9,000 likes on this live stream on TikTok.
Yeah, I think so.
It keeps going up. Yeah, I'm very confused.
I don't even know.
We don't.
But thank you guys.
We need to stream on TikTok
sorry
more.
It's been so long.
We need to stop neglecting you. We're so sorry. Right. Any more questions? Let's see who we're doing. Are you playing in any bands?
I'm playing in the amazing and wonderful Ilona Mayu. Spelling will be put in this chat by said Ilona. And also I'm in a band called Bryony Dunn and the Forest. All of this is in my link tree on my Instagram.
On Emma's, but not on Love to Learn Drums.
Yes, on Sounds Like Emma, my Instagram. So if you want to check us out, then you can. Ilona is more rocky stuff. Bryony is more poppy, country, folky stuff. If you like Fleetwood Mac, go for that. If you like her face, go
And
for
my
that.
singing,
And that, I
about the
guess,
singing and
kind
everything
of,
else.
sort of, I guess. Yeah. If you like Evanescence and Fleetwood Mac.
We've got Ethan's dad. Oh, bless him. You have a name too. It's fine.
Yes, it's okay.
I have to work away for 3 months. Boo. I am
Yeah.
taking my practice pad. Yay!
Yay.
Question. What's the best way to keep motivated with only a practice pad? That is a great question.
I mean, I'm a bit of a weirdo because I can sit with a practice pad and a click and
She
just
loves
be
it.
very merry and happy because I get in my zone and I just focus on every micro detail that's going on. I find it very meditative. Other people do not, and I don't have a solution. Do you have one?
I didn't until last week.
Oh,
we
would you look
did
at
we
that?
did a session with our teachers, and they actually answered this question.
Yeah.
And their advice was to just put songs on and just play on the practice pad whatever
Fair.
you want.
Yeah.
And then if you then decide you want to do whatever, then you can do that. I've actually taken this advice in the last week because I haven't practiced for a while.
Yeah.
And every day I've just put some songs on that I like to play along to and just have fun with. And I've just picked 2 rudiments.
6 minutes.
and then basically just go on 1 bar of each for that day.
Yeah.
Just 2 rudiments backwards and forwards, keep it really simple. And
Okay.
like what I've found always difficult is transitioning between singles and doubles smoothly.
Okay, yeah.
So I just sat on that for a couple of days. Then I sat on paradiddles to doubles, singles, and just really simple exercises. I think sometimes we overcomplicate things and we feel like we have to be doing this like crazy 6-stroke roll, and we end up burning ourselves out before we've even played anything. So 1 song, practice pad, jam along to it.
See, I've been rinsing flams and weird stuff, but that's because I've been playing 15 years and I'm bored. So yeah, I would recommend that route over my route.
There's also something that you say a lot, Chris, about trying to, if you're just finding it difficult to make the time or motivate yourself to do, like to sit down and be like, right, I'm going to do pad exercises now.
Yeah.
Putting it in places and incorporating it into your daily habits.
Bathroom.
So that it's just something that you're doing mindlessly all the time. And then instead of it being a conscious thing that you kind of have to try and squeeze in, it's naturally just happening all the time.
We have someone yelling in the TikTok.
Someone is very happy.
They said something.
With what Ilona just said there, for example, one of the things that you can do is if you're traveling, let's say you're in a hotel room, put the practice pad on the bed. So before you go to bed, that's there, or in the morning, first when you wake up, like just put it, like
tissue.
No, I don't need a tissue. It's just the
allergies.
Again.
Any tips on tackling odd time signatures?
Counting.
Just
count. And also just come up with either a groove or a fill that you're trying to kind of work on in that time signature and rinse and repeat over and over again. If you've got something like, I know Drumeo is actually quite good for this, where you can just loop a section of song, and you just sit with it and you start to jam with it and you just get comfortable with how long that amount of time feels, and then eventually it feels a bit more fluid and easy. But I recommend groove and then fill, jumping between the two. Or say you're in something like 7 and you play 5 beats of fill, and then you have 2 of groove, and then you have 2 beats of fill, and that's how long you've got. You give yourself a set framework like that, and then you just improvise something in those 2 beats that will fit in that time, and you just get comfortable again filling through those weird time signatures.
I like this question because I think you're going to have an interesting answer. Shiro on YouTube has asked, how many years would you say it takes to become very good at the drums? This depends on like a million different
You just
factors.
answered the question right there. Because if you're...
How committed are you to practicing?
Yeah, if you're practicing 10 hours a
Do you
day...
have a teacher?
And practicing well.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is something that so one of the things that we give our students that come through and do one of our courses is a support line where they can message in, right, daily. And the thing that I had to see time and time again, people are like, I'm doing this at the time and practicing, but they're practicing the wrong thing in the wrong way.
Yeah.
You can do 10 hours worth of practice if you're
and
holding
you're not
the
really
sticks
achieving anything.
like this. That's not going to get you anywhere. So it's important to do quality practice as well. So I think like making sure that you practice well. I think if you right there, what's happening over there?
It's just highlighting all.
I think like one of the things you can do to make sure you're doing that is film yourself and watch it back, as cringe-worthy as it is.
Yeah.
And I know you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Most people
Yeah.
don't.
We're all
then-
hypocrites, but it does work.
Yeah. So I think that's a big one to progress faster.
Yeah.
Let's having a look at.
I don't think the TikTok here. I'm going to refresh.
Can
it.
they
I
call
feel-
in tears
I mean,
frustrated?
I feel like
Yes.
it's just not.
The video's not going, but the
up,
comments
up,
are.
Yeah, but the comments there, way more are coming through up
Oh,
there.
I
So I
see.
don't really understand.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's just filtering through them quite slowly.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's anything we've missed. Come on, more questions.
Yes.
Come at us. You've got 10
we've
more
got about
minutes.
10 minutes.
10 more minutes is your last chance. For new learners, what are common mistakes and bad habits that you see? That is a great
There's so
question,
many.
Horace.
So many pinkies.
Oh, I do this so bad.
Pinkies.
If you watch a series of me and Emma, of her teaching me how to play drums, it's like a thing I constantly do of sticking my pinkies out, and I can't bloody pull them in. And even in my final performance, I'm still sticking them out. It's so annoying. I don't know why I do it.
Sticky sticks. So sticking the stick to the drum when you hit it as well, and it deadens the sound of the drum. Can be used for a creative effect later down the line, but it's not something you want to be your go-to thing that you do.
Lifting your foot off of the plate of the bass drum pedal.
Yeah, like
I don't have a bass drum pedal.
legit. Just
Like if this is the pedal, people will actually come off and then stomp back down.
Doesn't work.
That's not good because you're going to have a limit on how fast you can play if you do that.
Yep. Big that.
Sitting up straight.
Yeah, sitting up straight.
Like really slouched. That's something that's really.
Really so good. Yeah, I don't ever slouch. I don't slouch ever. No.
Someone said, "Are we all drum teachers?"
They are. I'm not.
I mean, at this point, the amount of
It
advice.
would be terrifying if my
Ilona
drum
has done a video. If everyone's on learning your first drum group.
That's true.
Let me see. Thank you for answering. I love you both, and we'll learn to love you too, Chris.
Oh, love to learn, Chris.
Learn to love Chris. Any tips on writing interesting? Any tips on writing interesting parts? I know a similar question was already asked, especially for rock, like The Police. I really like Copeland, but don't want to steal the show with too much.
That's a question.
But I think sparingly use that as a don't constantly try and be doing that.
Serve the song.
Sometimes that can be good to try. Sometimes you're just doing it because you've learned a new sticking and you feel like you want to shove it into the song.
The problem is that people like Stuart Copeland, it works because he's playing in The Police.
Yeah.
And he has made it his own, and it's an original.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. So I think if anyone else started playing like Stuart Copeland, but it was over like Mr. Brightside, it might not go down very well. So again, it's about just serving the song. If you're in your originals project, do what you want.
I actually, I'm trying to remember their name. It'll come to me in a second. A drummer and teacher who we met at Radar, who's in Give Me Some of the Bands from Radar.
Oh,
Yes,
Jay.
Yeah.
Jay
He put a
Playstones.
really good video about this recently I saw, and what he does is he actually programs the beats in that he can't even play yet.
Yeah.
And then reverse engineers them and practices the different
Oh,
bits.
that's exactly what Ryan does.
So if you want to be more creative, what's good about that is that you're not limited by your coordination barriers. And you can do something. And then obviously if you need to adapt it to make it so that you can physically play it, so you've not got to have 4 limbs at the same time and singing and trying to do whatever else, and then do that. But I think that's a really good one.
Yeah. Aaron is asking, how do I make the bass softer to play jazz?
Heel down.
Are you playing heel up? If so, heel down.
Heel down.
You're like, heel down. I have the answer.
And Triple D do online lessons. That is all we do.
Yes,
really.
We do so much.
The business of online drum lessons.
Yes, if you head to our website, lovetolearndrums.com, you'll see the wealth of drum lessons and all the different ways you can get drum lessons with us. Someone said, and this one was here's a hard one. I know some drummers, particularly my band's drummer, hate electronic kits because they don't feel the same. Do you agree, or is he just being a kid about
We
it?
had this conversation in the car earlier.
I think both you and I, Chris, are kind of at a point in our playing where we feel like we need an acoustic, just to have the feel. I mean, you always have preferred acoustic. You learned on acoustic. I learned on electric.
I think at least an access to an acoustic so that when you play the electric, you can have in mind of putting this on the acoustic?
Yes, you need a point of reference.
Yeah.
So I totally get what you're saying. It's like when people ask me to play gig on cajon, I just flat out say no because it just feels awful. It's not the same degree, but it depends on the gig as well. If you're doing a theatre gig, electronic drums is actually easier in a lot of ways. But if you're doing something that requires a lot of feel, like a jazz gig, that would be really hard on an electric kit.
The only time I felt comfortable on stage on an electric kit was when we played those F-note kits at the UK Drum Show. But it is acoustic shells. The whole thing is big. It's not something you can have in it. It's as close to an acoustic as you can get. And it's set up very much like that. So that's not practical for what most people would think electric kits anyway. So I think that it's a balance, isn't it?
Yes. It depends on what's available to you as well. But I get what he's saying in terms of they don't feel the same.
They don't feel the same. They don't. And I think it's going to be, especially to feel, because of the material, it's almost going to be impossible to ever get it to feel the same.
Yeah.
That's it. Like it's just.
Someone's saying jazz would be impossible on an electric kit.
Who knows?
Depends. I think it depends how hardcore the jazz is, right? As well, because there's if it's some lighter stuff, then it's okay.
You can't do brushes on it.
No,
that's what
no, you can't.
You can't really do that. And you wouldn't get the same resonance from the bass drum either. There's so much more subtlety, I find, to jazz.
Yeah.
What have we got?
Technology's getting there, but
it is getting there. It's always getting better. It's getting more and more amazing.
Just depends on what your needs are, and also budget. Because I think electric kits are cheaper than an acoustic. Is that right? Or is it the other way around?
Electric kits are normally more expensive than acoustic.
It depends on the kits, but
Like, as a general, like if you're gonna you can get a pretty good acoustic kit for like, let's go with dollars. $1,000 is going to get you a lot. $1,000 isn't probably going to get you a lot for most electric kits. There are a few out there that are not bad for that price range, but most are still lacking somewhat at that level.
Right, we've got 4 minutes left, people.
4 minutes left. Come on, you're burning questions.
Do you want to tell people about the fast track course, and that we're opening up some more slots for that?
Yes, we are opening up more slots for the fast track drummer course that we've been doing. So basically, if you have a certain goal that you would like to achieve on drums in 28 days, we can make that happen for you. Or we can tell you what is realistic for you. So if you're sat at home kind of self-taught and you've just been kind of desperately trying to figure out the best way to teach yourself how to play drums, or you've tried different routes, you tried literally my lessons online, the free ones, or you've watched other YouTube tutorials, or you've had subscriptions and tried all of that stuff, even maybe in-person lessons and already done that, and you've just found you haven't got anywhere. What we'll do is basically with Fast Track Drummer, you can get on a consultancy kind of call and talk through it with the drummer and figure out what is actually the best course of action for you individually, because that I feel like is what's missing online at the moment. So basically, we help you figure out what your goal is, and in 28 days we can help you achieve it. And if you don't achieve it, then we'll keep teaching you until you do.
For free?
For free? Yeah.
But you'll have like a daily plan. So every day you wake up, you look at what you've got, 15 minutes in this, 5 minutes on this, whatever it is to achieve that song, that goal. As well as a whole bunch of courses and ebooks and other support that goes along with that as well.
Basically, we give you the kick up the arse that you need.
Yes, fundamentally.
In essence.
Yes.
In summary.
Yeah.
How early in the journey of learning how to play drums would you recommend to start working on polyrhythmic independence?
Wow.
I wouldn't say early should be in that sentence. I'm wondering if I'm already behind schedule. Been learning since December. You're doing absolutely fine.
There's no need to worry about that for a while.
You are completely fine. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Oh my gosh.
People are asking about playing fast chops.
Yeah.
How do you want to answer that?
This is quite a broad topic.
Book a coaching call.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what kind of chops we're talking about and what kind of playing ability you're at. Depends on what advice I'd give.
As if that whether that's a priority or not for you. I think
I'd say smoothness is a big one. So making sure you're working with a metronome and making sure your hand to foot timing is
good.
as good as
Yeah.
it can be. And your counting needs to be good as well, because if you're doing super fast stuff, then it's very easy to lose the one.
Mm-hmm. And remember, smooth.
Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Speed develops with proper techniques, says
There
Zach.
it
Well done,
is.
Zach.
That's the one. That's what
I think we have one that I want to end on.
All right then.
Is there a workaround hard work?
Depends what you define as hard.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, no.
Well,
you have
I
to
mean,
work hard.
If you love what you're doing most of the time with playing drums, if you get it to a speed where you can really relax into it, I find it's not work anymore for me. But it does require some days where you're like, I can't be arsed. And then it eventually does pay off.
I think what really helps with the 28-day course that we do is that because you have this goal and you have a teacher who's checking in on you and you're having lessons and you've got this plan to follow, you have a lot more motivation to actually really stick to it. Another a thing that we add in is there's a practice diary that you can use to upload videos of you practicing every day. You don't have to use it, but a lot of people find it really helps them, because you can't cheat and be like, oh, well, yeah, I did do some practice yesterday. Well, no, you didn't. There's no evidence. You got to prove it. And then it's like a way of holding yourself accountable.
Yeah.
When you haven't got, someone kind of checking in and making sure that you're doing that. The accountability is such a big thing. Like, there were so many points in my journey when I was learning drums with you where I wanted to quit, because I was like, I'm rubbish, I don't want to do this.
But sometimes
but knowing that I was having to film myself every day and make sure that I was writing down what I was doing and checking in and I didn't want to come to my next lesson with Emma and be like, I haven't done anything, because that would have just been unfair on her, because the time she's investing in me, but also unfair on myself, because I should be investing in myself trying to learn. So I think it's just really good to hold yourself into that structure. And then when you've gotten they say it takes 3 weeks to build a habit. Well, when you build that habit over 4 weeks, when you finish the course, you're so much more better set up.
And after you've completed the 28-day course, you don't get just dropped in the lurch either. So there's a membership after that if you want.
You've got 6 months of weekly workshops. You've got 6 months of a support line you can message in with your progress.
And you also get a discount on our membership. So the teacher that you have, you can just carry on having lessons with them, which is what pretty much all of our students so far have done. Is they've gone, sick, I love you, let's carry on.
You feel more motivated because you can see what you can achieve when you put your mind to it, and then you can continue that progress.
And it definitely really helps with the confidence. And because all of the lessons are recorded, you can go back and rewatch the lessons again and get all the notes. If there's anything you missed, you can rewatch them. You can actually go back and watch your progress in real time and be like, wow, I did so much in that time. Like, that's crazy. I didn't think I was able to do that. So Fahad, if you are interested, I can see that you're down. Let's do it. Send us an email. We'll get you booked in for a call, and we'll get you set up.
And if anyone wants a slightly lighter introduction to trying to just get in practicing regularly, there's 2 challenges that are free on the website. The 7-day practice challenge and the 21-day practice challenge. Go in there, log on to that, and it just gets you to be accountable practicing once a day, small amounts. So that's
highly recommend. People
another
have had
way.
a lot of success.
Yeah, we've got a lot of people practicing and starting with that.
Awesome.
Cool. So there we go. Shall we leave it there?
I think we should.
I'm so sorry that we recorded this stream on a potato. We will not do that next time.
Thank you so much, guys. Hello again to TikTok. I know it's been a hot
If you're loving these live streams, we're going to try and make them more regular. Unfortunately, Emma is away for the next couple of weeks, at least
regular
on the Fridays. But we're going to try and start doing them, on a weekly basis, on a really regular basis. And if you guys are liking them and you're coming along and we're chatting, then we'll be able to, improve the quality and do them in more interesting places and improve my terrible webcam. And get people guesting and stuff like that. So we'd love to spice this up and make it more interesting. Sometimes you just want to have a question answered, but if you do have something really specific that you need help with, if you've got a really niche question, because we get this a lot where people are like, I need help with this or this song or this bit,
my foot specifically,
sometimes you just need to actually just talk to a teacher, and that's why we have the free coaching calls, so you can just get over that hump and get over that hurdle and move on. So get in touch with us, talk to us, and we will help. you.
All right. Have a lovely day wherever you are in the world / whatever time it is.
Thank you so much for coming along, and we'll see you in the next one.
Video, basically. Bye. Now we've got to turn all of
All
the
of our
devices off.
How do we do it? I never
Bye.
everything's too quick, isn't it? There we go.